not good.
All right, here we go. It's your round. If you stand up, that's right. Oh my gosh, that makes me so mad.
Why?
Why it does that?
Yeah, I'll be back for 5:30. I just have to go home with the boys. I might take you off the note on list.
Yeah.
Well, let's go home with the boys, and then I can make my brownies.
We're at the drunk guy on the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was just.
Okay, right here, this man sprawled out on the stairs. I love him. It's
Diogenes. You're on the stairs?
No, he's like a philosopher, man. Look at
Yeah,
that
he's a
paper.
philosopher.
He's sexy posed first.
He's totally sexy.
Jake, that's gonna be you.
That is me. Except I won't be wearing that blue.
Did he stab himself in the leg?
Diogenes was a philosopher. He said he was always looking for an honest man. He lived in Athens. Never found an honest man.
Was he the one who lived in the
Barrel.
barrel?
He lived in a barrel. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah. If you don't remember the story about Diogenes, because Jake wasn't in here last semester, I'll tell you. Diogenes was the guy that Alexander the Great came to Athens and he wanted to meet him. So he sought out Diogenes living in the barrel. And here is Alexander the Great, and he's on his horse, you know, and he's talking to Diogenes, who's down on the ground, which is what he was always like this. That's his pose all the time, sprawled out on the ground, you know, dude. Dude, he's comfortable, you know. He totally was. I would love to have met him. How cool he would have been to talk to. But Alexander the Great, most powerful man on the planet at the time, having a conversation with him, and Alexander says, you know, if you could have anything, what do you want? Because he wants to give him something. Alexander's going to give him anything, you know. And he says, move a little to the left. You're blocking my sun. That's it. That's all he wants, man. I mean, is that not like the coolest thing? This guy is a total hippie, isn't he? Right?
He was a hippie for
No, so did he smoke marijuana? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, not telling you
God,
marijuana.
you're hippie.
He had absolutely no need for material things. He just thought that was like, whatever, I don't care about that. He didn't even have a home. So he lived in a barrel, doesn't care about any of that stuff. There's nothing Alexander can give him that he has places any value in. He only places value in thoughts, in, you know, intellect, in relationships and stuff like that. So it's like to say, I'm the most powerful person on the planet. I have more money than anybody. I can give you. None of that means anything to him. He doesn't care. It's like, move a little to the left. You're blocking my sun. Man, I love it. God. Okay, here we go. We did skip a character, so we're going to come around later and I'll show you who he is. Don't let me forget, please, that we skipped someone. Okay? All right. So we're going to show you Euclid, and Euclid is he's an older man here that's been over, he's working on the tablet on the ground here. So I'm going to circle, and you can probably only see the top of his head for you.
Yeah.
Look at that circle. I'm almost Da Vinci.
What corner
Huh?
is it? It's in the, almost in the right corner.
Like that? Is that a good circle?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Okay, so this
Bramante. He's both those people.
Bramante. Euclid and Bramante. Euclid, what did he do? How come you don't like him?
I don't know.
Huh?
Did he do geometry?
Yes. Euclid was the father of geometry. That's what he's doing on the ground here, is working out some geometrical stuff. And when you're there at the back,
He's making a right angle.
uh-huh. Yeah. And Bramante was an architect that was a Renaissance architect.
So does he represent Euclid and Bramante?
Yeah. Wonder why it says that. Euclid and Bramante.
Well, I thought they were saying
She's blonde. You have to give her a break.
Hey, Mom, that's okay. Hey,
Thoughts the only process, like one
go
word at a
slurp
time.
your alcohol.
Pretty much. You just have to say it really, really slow and
Okay.
really loud.
You're the new chick.
Okay. Now once again, Euclid, like Pythagoras on the other end of the painting, has allegory of figures around him that are learning and they're asking questions and they're like, no, Euclid, that's not geometry.
Is that one guy balancing a ball?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
What are they holding?
We'll get to them in a minute. Or first stay calm. Stay calm. Okay, so let's erase our circle.
see it.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, look at him.
Hey! I'm gonna see them in concert in May.
He is on the cover of Guns N' Roses.
Have fun. Axel will probably get mad.
Right, we'll recognize him one more time. He's right here.
Possibility.
For those of you who didn't see him right there. Okay, I'll erase the little dot now. He's on the cover of Guns N' Roses record.
What is his name?
Well, that's sweet.
Use your illusions.
And then we'll move on now. Okay, so now we're going to look at three different characters. Okay, we'll start with Ptolemy. Ptolemy is the character that has his back to us here in this beautiful golden robe, and he is holding the earthly sphere in his hand, and his head is circled right there in red. And that is Ptolemy. I'll coordinate my colors here.
Which Ptolemy?
Tall.
The Ptolemy that gave us latitude and longitude.
Okay.
That Ptolemy.
Bastard.
That's why he's holding the Earth sphere in his hand. He gave us latitude and longitude, okay? So Zoroaster is holding the celestial sphere, and Zoroaster will use green and circle his face, and that is Zoroaster.
Ptolemy gave us latitude and longitude.
Yep.
We have that stupid ball.
And Zoroaster was a Persian religious dude and gave us Zoroastrianism. That's
Never
right.
even heard that in my
Yeah,
life.
It's actually, it looks like a Zoroastrian.
Yeah, it has an A in it when you spell Zoroastrianism.
What does that mean, Zoroastrian?
It's his religion.
Isn't that like the Aquarius and the Virgo and the...
So
Yeah,
like
it's a
those
weird-
Zodiac stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird mess. Yeah, it's a
Like the
weird
father
mess.
of Zodiac.
And he was alive during the time of the ancient Greeks. Okay? And then Raphael,
Oh, I see him right there in the
it's in the painting. Do you recognize him?
He's kind of hiding in the corner behind the guy in the white hat.
That's right. That's right. Raphael himself is right here.
Sneaky little
It's like one of those where you gotta find a ball.
There is where's Waldo? Where is Raphael? There he is. Places himself in the painting as the way to sign it. Because people didn't really sign
You can see
when they
him.
did frescoes.
Well, you can see him.
You don't sign a fresco, which is a painting on a wall on wet plaster. People didn't really sign those. So, I mean, this is kind of his way to put his signature. Put himself in it. Isn't that cool?
That is pretty sweet.
Okay, so we've color coordinated there, so Jared should be able to figure this out if he bothers to watch it.
Alright, so yep, green is Ptolemy. Red is
And then we'll erase. Okay. And now
Zoroaster.
we'll look closely now. You can clearly see the face of
It's almost, is
Raphael.
that the same, like
Like the Zodiac signs.
pose that he's doing
Yeah.
in the self-portrait?
Yeah, it is.
It's just like flipped, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the white guy?
I don't have it written down. I'm sorry.
The guy in white.
With the white hat.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we come all the way back around to the character in the middle,
You can
and
barely
this is Plato.
Well, I thought,
Hey, don't
what?
you mean Aristotle?
That's what I meant, Aristotle. Sorry.
Are they arguing or something?
They are talking. They are talking, and you could call it arguing or debating, but Plato and Aristotle did have different ideas, different thoughts, different beliefs. Their philosophies were different. They're both holding the books that they wrote. The title of the book is on the binding. You can see the title of the book. You can read the title of the book.
Is there copies of the books they wrote? Like,
Yeah.
that
there are.
we could buy? What are they called? What are they named?
This one is called Ethica that Aristotle wrote, and
What's it about?
his ideas, his philosophy, his thoughts. Okay. And I forgot the one Plato wrote. I have it written down. Gemini maybe. I have to look it up, but I do have it written down. Not coming to me. Apologize.
Don't
Okay,
forget about the character.
but their gestures, if you look at their gestures are also significant because they both hold their books and their gestures are also significant. If you look, Aristotle he's pointing, his hand is doing like this to the ground because his thoughts, his philosophy were very much in the real world, grounded in the real world, based in the real world. Okay, realism, reality, here and now. Plato, he points upwards. This is to do with his philosophy. Not so much about what can necessarily be touched and felt. Okay? And this is what Plato points to. It's not so much about what you can touch and what you can feel. Right? And this is what their ideas are very different. They didn't see eye to eye. And their motions that we're getting here have to do with that. So it's fantastic that Raphael painted them both this way. Now, there are a couple, as I said, other characters that I have no idea why it skipped, so I apologize. And we'll come back to this large character, come down to the front, and I'll just circle him completely.
That was a quiet one.
Now, this is a very interesting character.
Quiet is a term that doesn't help me.
This character was in none of the preliminary sketches that Raphael did. And we have them. We have all of his sketchings, you know, we do have the Vatican.
But this isn't in them.
They're not in them anywhere. None.
What's the name?
He did it as an afterthought. He puts it up there as an afterthought. It was never in any of the sketches beforehand. It wasn't planned. He just decided to do it at the last minute. And this character is a Greek philosopher named Heraclitus. And I'll write it on Heraclitus. And I'll write that on the board for you because it's not. I have no idea why it skipped the connection.
It almost seems like you took a painting that looks like just a bunch of random figures and totally put them in order, and now I can see them. That's crazy.
Heraclitus.
Spell it for Jared.
Hera, the goddess, Heraclitus. Heraclitus.
Thank you.
Okay?
Wow.
And I want you to look how he's dressed and what he's leaning on. These are all clues as to who else he stands for.
So what else does he stand for?
Okay? Anybody want to go with that?
You want to give us
I wish I would have looked at
A philosopher.
No.
No.
If that's the philosopher.
Working class.
So we're talking about someone from his period. Right? So we've already done ancient Greek. We're looking for a Renaissance man
Oh, a Renaissance man?
who happened to be working around the corner at the time.
on the
Michelangelo.
corner or
Michelangelo was working just around the corner at the same time Raphael was doing the School of Athens. Michelangelo is literally painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling at the same time.
Did he put
Wouldn't you
Raphael?
love to be in the Vatican at this time when that's going on?
I bet
Yeah.
no, I bet it took forever.
Of course, some people got slapped around a little bit, of course. Michelangelo and Raphael do not see eye to eye, but
Do you think you'd ever have gotten bored of just watching him paint?
no.
Who do you think would win in a fight?
Michelangelo, yes.
Raphael looks like a little
Yeah.
wuss.
I bet
Raphael is a bit of a. I mean,
He could be a scrapper, but Michelangelo was more like
he was a stone cutter. He was strong,
Yeah.
and that's what he's dressed
When
as
I hear
here.
Michelangelo, I
He has
think
stone
like
cutter's clothes on, and this is the face of Michelangelo. He's looking down.
Yeah, when you look at him, he looks a lot more like muscular, like
Mhm.
how he is. You know what I think of? Why
And look what he's leaning on. What's he leaning on?
A stone.
A block of
It
stone.
looks like a desk for a second, but
Yeah.
yeah, like a stone.
It almost
Block
looks
of
like
stone.
But with the way that stone is placed, it almost makes the stairs seem flat.
Mhm.
you can tell that he was added in there almost later.
Okay,
I
now,
feel like he's
School of Athens.
Why was he?
So, our two statues here are also important to us.
I'm gonna have to flip the page. Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. See?
Are you mystified?
I'm trying to remember. I don't want to write. It's not Minerva. It's Athena. You don't want to call her Minerva.
That's the
Minerva?
Roman equivalent.
Yeah, that's the Roman name. This is
I
the
knew
peanut.
that. I wasn't even here.
It's all on one
Or A.
P.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. And this statue is Apollo, and it's Nina.
So it has some squeaky shoes.
Somebody needs to be punched in the face.
Now look at the depth that he gave this.
Get in line,
Look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic?
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It's a great job.
I guess.
It's okay, right? It's okay.
Jay, can you give me my
What
pen?
is?
Okay. Oh God, Mason, did we remember the girl's name?
Nope.
I'm gonna be sick.
I was gonna Google
Physically
it,
gonna
but
throw up.
I just did.
They were out Hanks.
No, it's not Sappho because that's an artist.
I didn't find it in my notes either.
No, because we
It's
didn't
just
write.
like a little side note.
Yeah, we just talked about her. We didn't actually like write any notes
Didn't even
about
like test on her or anything.
Well, then I'm not.
her. I'm gonna go nuts. I really am. I'm probably gonna claw my face out or something.
Too late. Well, you're gonna remember at seminar. And you're gonna hate
Reese's
yourself.
Google.
You're gonna be like,
You're gonna
going
make
down
an
the hall. Excuse me, Western students.
Hypatia. Hypatia.
Hypatia.
That's it.
Hypatia?
Yeah, Hypatia.
I don't
Hypatia.
I'm gonna write it down.
That's her name.
What girl is it? The one in the white?
Yeah. She's the one in white.
Write it on the board.
Wait. Nuh-uh. It was the one behind her, wasn't it? The girl.
No, it was the one in
It's
white.
the girl that looks like
She's
she's
the one-
busty.
The one in white. This
What
is
was that
Hypatia.
one that the one girl in blue then?
I don't know
Or
what.
by Socrates. Because that's the one we were talking about, I thought at first.
You mean the one in armor?
No, the one by Socrates.
I was
And
gonna say,
the
'cause
one-
that one wasn't a lady. The one in
Yeah,
armor.
no,
was
the one in
outfit
blue
was
is
great.
not a lady right here.
What? It looks like
This
a
is not a
lady.
girl. This is a girl.
No, because she's got that weird, because I thought that's who we were talking about, because she is listening to
This is a
Socrates.
girl right here. The one in white, which, believe me, one time I had a lady try to tell me that that was Joan of Arc. And you know what I said to her?
Smoking alcohol.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Besides wanting to tell her how stupid that I thought she was, I just said, "What's the name of the painting?" Huh? Shut up. Okay. What's the name of the painting?
School of Athens.
That's not Joan of Arc. What's she doing in Athens? What are you, high?
What's wrong?
Raphael is there because he painted it. That's his signature.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Michelangelo's there because Raphael was rubbing it in his face.
No. He's paying homage. Remember several of these?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Right.
You gotta remember what we're doing with double meanings. Several of them have double meanings because we've got the ancient Greek in
Is
there.
there one that you forgot about that you said?
Yeah, it was Heraclitus.
Okay.
Heraclitus.
Yeah, so he wasn't actually Michelangelo, but he was.
Yeah, it's the face of Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Literally, that's
Okay,
what Mike
see
looked like.
Plato with the face of Da Vinci.
Right, exactly. That's the face of Da Vinci. Okay. And then he had some of his other modern day people that he is paying homage to by making them look like the people he knows. Saying, okay, well, this is Euclid, but it's the face of Bramante, who I appreciate him as a great architect. You know, so, and they recognize it when people come in, they're like, oh my God, that's Bramante. You know, I mean, they know. You know, people come in, they say, God, look, it's Da Vinci, and he's Plato. Wow, that's fantastic. You know, so they appreciate that he's paid homage to.
Did he have this all like written out?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Because we have all his preliminary sketches, as I was talking about earlier. The problem is, though, this one character here was not on any of the preliminary sketching.
How do you know someone didn't just sneak in there one night?
Well, this is most definitely Raphael's work. We know that it's not one of his students or anything like that. Somebody didn't just accidentally do it. It was done with the rest of the work. He just didn't plan it beforehand. He did it as an afterthought, probably because of how much crap that he caused Michelangelo. To be honest with you, you know, he was constantly sneaking in the Sistine Chapel, and Mike would chuck paintbrushes down there. You know, get out. Stuff like that, because Mike was, 40 feet, 50 feet in the air on scaffoldings, and Raphael would sneak in because he wanted to look at what he was doing, and Mike didn't like to be bothered at all, and he didn't give a crap what Raphael was doing in the other room. He did what he was supposed to be doing, and he didn't want to be bothered by this young punk, and that's how he viewed him. So he would chunk paintbrushes down at him, get out of here, punch him,
Get paint on you.
You know.
Choke him in the head with a big
Yeah, you just kick stuff at him, get out of the way, and Raphael
threw
just
a couple of paint cans.
caused him crap all the time. But here's what's so funny. He snuck in there and watched him all the time, and I don't know if y'all noticed this or not, but this style of painting is actually very different than the other paintings y'all looked at Raphael's. Did you notice that, Mason? Have some of y'all caught that? You know why? Because he's copying Michelangelo. The man has been in the other room. He's watching what he's doing. He sees what's going on. He's learning. Had he lived longer, he would have really been magnificent. I mean, he was good. We saw his work. But you notice that his work from early, like the Transfiguration and stuff, is very different than this. And the Transfiguration, was the last thing that he was working on when he died. This piece is very different. He's putting Michelangelo's techniques into that piece right there. And you can see that very clearly. It's not like his other work.
Do you think he appreciated that, or do you think he was like, that little rat?
No, I think he appreciated that. I really do.
Do you remember the philosophy of what, how to pronounce it? The guy who also represents Alexander the Great. Do you remember?
Alcibiades.
Yeah, that's it. Do you remember what his philosophy was?
No. Let me see if I wrote it down. Did I? Oh, I told you I was looking for it. I gotta look for it. Because we're gonna go in just a minute. Let me see if I can get any further with Raphael. I hate to get too far and then I can't save in time. Let me see where we're at. We're gonna end up starting with Mike. That's where we're gonna go. So let's see. Does the bell ring in 5 minutes for them to have lunch in?
They'll all be back in class by
It is
12:45.
12:39 right now.
The bell will
Yeah, 5
ring for them
minutes.
to go out of lunch in like a minute.
All right. So I'm gonna start talking about Michelangelo just to get this part on out of the way.
He's weird there.
He is ugly.
This is not in your picture packet. I'm just showing you what Mike looks like. Broken nose.
Broken nose.
Yeah.
From Raphael.
No, somebody else in a bar. He wouldn't shut his mouth, so he got broken. No, Raphael didn't have the cojones to break Michelangelo's nose.
That's true.
I could see him beating up Raphael.
Yeah.
He made me
Mike, I have to tell you, he viewed himself as a sculptor, never as a painter. He didn't like to paint. He didn't think he had any talent in painting. But I want to tell you something. As we start to look at his work, and you'll start to notice this, because I've studied these artists a lot, as you know. And I've seen their works in person, many of them now. And one thing I can tell you about Michelangelo is he actually paints the way he sculpts. And I know that seems like a weird statement, but I think you'll see that as we start to study the sculpture. We'll study sculpture first, and then we'll move into painting. And the things that a sculpture, particularly Michelangelo, studies about human anatomy. You got to get things right when you're doing it. Sculpture. It's marble you're working with here, not butter, not wood, marble. And I want you to think about the tools that these people had at their disposal at the time. Right. My God, what he could have done with today's tools, I don't even want to think about it. Because what he did with his tools, we still think is the most wonderful. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Do you ever wonder if, when you get to heaven, there's going to be all these, famous people that died so long ago, and they're, doing their thing all over the place?
Wow, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Oh,
If it's
Miss
like
Hanks
that?
can't wait to be.
I'm
Yeah.
that's the reason, heaven will be beautiful because of all these sculptures and all the talent that God has put into those people.
My favorite piece of art on the planet is Michelangelo's Pietà of St. Peter's. That is my favorite piece of art on the planet. Okay. And that is
So that's a piece of art they can't save, and they're
I
all
can't
gonna
carry
get
it, man. It probably weighs 2,000 pounds.
Everything else.
All of it was painted.
No, okay, they're all gonna get sold in an auction. You get to choose one for free.
I'm taking the Pietà. It's mine.
You're taking what?
The Pietà.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm taking it. She's going on with me. And when you see her, you'll
I want the
understand why.
Last Supper.
But let me talk about Mike for just a minute. He viewed himself as a sculptor, as I said. He studied under the tutelage of the apprenticeship. What he did to get his apprenticeship is he went in, the master painter said, gave him a few of his artworks and said, here, go copy these, bring them back, let me see how good you are. You know, you guys see that from the Chicago Art Studio. You see commercials where they make you do this yellow bird, and you'll see the commercial on TV, you know. Okay, well, they did that back then, too. They handed you stuff and said, copy this, let me see how good you are, and then you come back. Mike brought them back, and the copies were so good that the artist didn't know which ones were his. He couldn't tell the difference. He actually had to ask Mike which ones were mine and which ones are yours. That's how good he was. So it's a little scary, right, to be that good. So obviously he gets to serve under his apprenticeship. He had to live with the Medicis while he did this because his family wasn't really that wealthy. His dad did not want him to be an artist because that was kind of looked down upon as a, you know, you're not going to have any money, blah, blah, blah. But he lives with the Medici family, and they commission works and stuff as he gets older and better. Sculpture is what he loved. Sculpture is what he wanted to do. He never liked painting. He actually cut the stone himself. He would go pick out the marbles himself. And this is how he viewed it. Let me tell you this, because this I've always thought is the most beautiful thing. His works as a sculptor. Okay? He said that he would go and look at a chunk of stone, a raw chunk of stone, right? Pretend the chunk of stone's in front of you. He would look at this chunk of stone until it spoke to him what it was. That it was something already, you know? It was inside there, and once it spoke to him what it was, then he was ready to start. But it revealed itself to him. He never decided what it was going to be. It was always, it spoke to him, okay? That's how he looked at it. And he said that he wasn't actually creating something out of the stone, that he was simply chipping the stone away and freeing the figure from its prison. Is that not magnificent?
That is
Think of
absolutely
that?
beautiful.
It gives me chills every time I talk about that. You know, to not make his own talent. You know, to place it up here. You know, I'm so talented. Look what I can do. And he's saying, no. I'm not the talent here. These things are already there. I'm just freeing them from their prison. Wow. Because if I try to free them from their prison, it still look like a chunk of rocks. Okay, it ain't gonna look like the pin top when I get done.
You just like
Just
it's
edibles.
just little crumbs and stuff.
Yeah, that's what when I think about how they did it, I would think that it would be so like raggedy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really look
Right.
about their tools. It would just not.
Right.
What if
I
they
can
use
see
clay?
And they start out like that. They start out really rough. In order to get a smoothness about them, you have to rub that with cloth. I mean, just like, those tumble things that make the rocks really, really shiny? Yeah. Well, you can do that with any rock out in your driveway. But it's basically, you're rubbing it a million times until it's soft. They had to do that back then the same way, but with no electric buffers with their hands.
Are you going to see the play?
Yeah, we're going to go see the play. So, Jarrett, next time we're going to start with Michelangelo.
Where's my pen? So, pen.
I lost it.
Why would you let me borrow your favorite pin?